Shelling corn out here. Got started out here yesterday, and now we're rolling on day 2. Well, right there is where we started. We're all caught up with the wagons. Even though we're on the second day of harvest, we're still in our initial setup period. We got the wet bin almost full, just filling up the dryer like we're gonna start it tomorrow morning. Kind of been misting on and off all day. About the 4th time now, sprinkles come through. You can see my head, it's all shiny. But I keep getting out and shutting it off and looking back in my sieves, but it's not plugging and nothing's building up. So we're gonna keep on going through. About 60 acres done here so far, so I got another 10 to 15 out of this 170. The north end's a mile long rows. The south end here, it funnels down to a point where we get way away from the road. We're back out here for day 3 harvest now. We're still on the first 170 acre piece. We got just 2 check strips left from when we did earlage. So we chopped earlage between them and then left these strips for a yield check. That way we're not combining just one part of the field and chopping the other, because one yields better than the other. Finishes up, move down the road 2 miles, good for a quarter. The downside of leaving these strips is the wind gets to them. Tried it last year and just did 8 rows and it just completely, the wind knocked it all over flat. Here I figured I'd do at least 80 feet here roughly. Hopefully do a little bit better, but the wind still got to it. Should really come here before we do soybeans to do this. I got one strip done, the other strip about half done, and need to go about another 1.25 miles, and smoke coming out of the top gathering chain sprocket coming right out in there, so a little bit of play in it, so the bearing's going out. Several hours later here, end up having that smoke coming out of by that top shaft of the gathering chains. Ended up just being a bunch of junk that built up underneath right around the slip clutch in the gearbox. So it started smoldering, and that's what that smoke was coming from, and the smell. Checked the gearboxes all and pulled the gathering chain off, and that top sprocket, there was no play in it. Foggy night tonight. All done combining, so I'm gonna shut the dryer off for the night. Supposed to rain tonight, so we'll start it up again tomorrow, get the wet bin empty. So whenever we can get back combining, so we got a dry bin to start with. Over here at our next cornfield to combine, and it ain't too pretty. You got some good spots there where most is standing, but then you got a lot of spots like this. It's wet out, we got another 1/2 inch rain last night. So we haul this out of here on the road, we're gonna make a mess. But we leave it, and another 10–20% fall over. Oh, it's gonna be a mess. By far gonna be our worst field of corn, but 5 years ago this was a small grains field, and that's the only thing they grew on here. And putting a lot of manure out here every year, we're getting something, but should definitely plant this a little lower population. This is not gonna be fun. It's the last day of October here. We're out shelling corn. Just got a few rows left to clean up on this half of the quarter, and then I'll move over there. Oh, we got a trash panda. Field ain't doing too good. It's got a lot of down corn and it's not the best soil to start with. Really should have came out here and chopped this for earlage. Could have been off a month ago and it would have been a lot more of it would have been standing up, but barely even taking in any ears right there. Just see how it is. It ain't pretty, but 5 years ago this was a small grains field and that was it. So we've been, every other year we put it pretty heavy with manure and working on building organic matter and fertility. I guess it ain't Rose a shame if the planter ended up setting his AB line too far off to one side. A little pheasant running in front of me. Over and I'll start on that corn there. Last strip over here. Got done on the right side of the waterway there. One little piece left over there. Moved out east to these farms here and got all 1,500 bushel off. Still working on end rows and getting out, looking what job I'm doing. Found here in the ground, so. Well, most of it made it in there. It's pretty good. Got a big old kernel there, so that's probably a butt shatter. But she's wet. Got a couple on the ground. Corn at home was 17–18%. So we're 7 miles from home now and got this field and the one across the road and we're done, but we're at about 21% as an average. I just about used the auxiliary hopper. She's still full from at home yet. Waiting on the grain cart. Oh, Smoky off in the distance, the 8960. Usually we'll hook 2 wagons together. Changed it up this year. We're hooking 3 together. So that'll be like 1,920 bushel behind a 35,000 pound tractor when it's got 112,000 pounds of grain. I mean, what could go wrong? Really coming in there. Doing about 2,600 bushel an hour on average with this. The trucks are good for maneuver for speed, but when you can hold twice as much as the truck and still turn better on round corners. They got the wet bin pretty close to full. 3 wagons sitting here. Got my truck sitting there. Claiming this to check this and oh boy. Looks like we gotta let this run all night. I don't know if we should unhook that chain so it goes down with the grain. If it pokes a hole in the floor, I'd already poked one, we'll just patch that. But I don't really want these cords getting sucked in the sump, but I don't want to. I suppose as long as we got some grain on the floor, we can let it just fall on the grain without completely wrecking the floor. That's my dad. We'll see what he has to say about this. Got almost 20 acres here done on Reese Farm. And got the brother left with 3 wagons, got home to the dryer and saw that there was a pile of corn sitting under the unload auger from the dryer. So something kicked the blower out, which shut the 45 off. That loads the blower from the dryer bin auger. So tried. It's kind of a complex thing to run that Always looks like my mic cord's coming out. So my brother came out here to pick up my dad, and he's running back to go figure out it, because he knows the most about it. I know about the second, but I'm here in the combine keeping stuff moving. They're trying to get the dryer restarted and keep dumping corn. It sounds like they're dumping the 3 wagons my brother took home, so an hour I can have those 3 back out here. Brother's leaving with the second triple pair of wagons. Good corn here. Fortunately, it's 20–21%, so we're gonna get docked a little bit. Get the truck full, I'll head to town. Kind of the debacle is, our closest elevator is 3 miles that way, which you can make 2 loads an hour there. But they broke down this morning, so now I gotta go to their other branch, the next closest one, which is about 8 miles. But I got a lot of turning hills and stuff, so it takes a little while. Just get a load into town there and kind of see what my time frame is for round trips. 21% some corn. I'm trying to do the math and figure out what it's going to cost us to dry it. To dry it, you got to haul it 6–7 miles home, run it through the dryer, put it in, cool it down, unload it into a truck, haul it now 15 miles to that town, which if you could work it out that you pick up a load of wet corn in the field, go home, unload it, load dry, head to town, then you're really only ever driving empty for about 7 miles of 40. We'll see how it goes, see what the plan is. Back in the combine. I ended up getting 1 truckload hauled into the elevator. Turns out our local one had a fire in their leg. Ended up having the air filter on the blower was plugged, so that lost too much restriction in the line and just plugged the line, shut the unload auger, the 45 off, and then the bin auger just tripped itself out. Got down this little 20-acre sliver and we'll move to the next 10 or 15. Get that done tonight. Probably do this little sliver there tonight also, and then get on the big piece tomorrow, or we're gonna shut down to go bale. To be determined yet. Well, it's been a little while since I've had the camera on.
I'm empty if you want to come to the semi.
Alright, got mine out. Haven't had the camera out for a while. It's been pretty uneventful. We got, I guess besides the bin serrator falling down and the chain just broke and it just came down with the grain. Got started here about 5 o'clock and we're about 50 acres done in the day. So we're gonna finish combining next week. It's supposed to be good weather. We'll finish it next week. I'll run the truck home. The truck will get the wet bin pretty close to full. And then those 3 wagons will go in there tomorrow and shut the dryer off around noon. I need this empty because I gotta go run tonight for a bull rack or a pot. There are little pigs in the morning to haul. So I'll get this empty, get ready to go, enjoy my few hours of sleep. I'll be back on the road. Working on loading my truck. Wet bins are ringing full. Grandpa's gonna have 3 wagons to load in the morning, and then we'll get to working on other stuff. So, until next time, enjoy. God bless.